Hello, great people of YouTube. In this video, I'll tell you about the concept of human looks. And right now I was listening to the music from Oblivion, created by Jeremy Soule. It's very calming. And I was reading a book by Voltaire, also this French author, philosopher, and so on. And I was really enjoying it. I felt a great calming effect on my nervous system, and overall, I could feel that even though I was focusing, I was thinking about what I'm reading, and I was understanding what I'm reading because I understand French language and so on. At the same time, I was listening to the music, and at the same time, so like that was the third activity. I was thinking about a very important thing that is like what I've read back in the day in the Oscar Wilde's book, The Portrait of Dorian Grey. And it's really interesting because I'll give you a summary. Even though it's a classic like The Portrait of Dorian Grey, I'll tell you something more about it. So like this book tells you a story about a guy that gets a picture of himself, and through some kind of a curse, this main hero, Dorian Grey, can commit evil crimes, and those evil crimes transform his face and like his looks to someone that is ugly, demonical like. But those transformations and changes are only seen on his portrait. So for example, he can smoke cigarettes and he'll get bad skin, but only on the portrait. He can kill someone and his eyes will become diabolical, like from a wild animal that is bloodthirsty. And you'll see those eyes, but not on Dorian Grey himself, but on the portrait. He can drink alcohol, go to prostitutes, destroy his life through toxic situations, and those effects will be not seen on him because he'll be forever young, and he'll look like a prince, charming, and he'll look very nice. But all those changes will take effect on the portrait of Dorian Grey. And it's interesting because overall, like the book, I guess it has 200 pages or something. It is very well done. It tells you a lot about psychology and like what is the most fearful consequence for people? The looks, And I believe it's a metaphor for superego, for like your looks that you have thanks to other people. So for example, I truly believe that many people would go with their primal instincts, would kill each other, would steal from each other, would rape each other, if they would not be judged, It's not like they are morally good from their nature. Like very sad truth about human is actually he's not good from the nature. For me, and I have scientific and historical data that proves it, for me human is evil from the nature. And like we can dwell on the linguistic aspect, what does it mean to be evil? Well, for me he's evil because for example, there is no concept of fidelity in humans, mostly in men. So like we know that only like unique species are fidel and so on, and like human is not loyal. Like just think about this, like we created marriages, right? We created Christianity, we created the concept of loyalty and so on, but the data says something different. We have psychological research, we have statistics. Many Polish families are devastated through cheating. Husbands cheat on their wives, and wives cheat on their husbands. And it happens because we are promiscuous. So like morally good nature would imply that we are loyal to each other. Like some of the birds, like some of the swans, you find your wife and you just fell in love with her and you are forever together, right? But actually it's not like this. And like be honest with yourself, just analyze your thoughts. Talk with psychologists, or literature, Think about your friends. Read data, statistics. When people are in marriages, they get bored with each other and they often cheat. And even if they do not cheat, they think about cheating. They think sexually about other people. And for me, it's evil nature. Of course, some of the people hide it because sometimes they are ashamed what my family will say, what friends will say, but let's say 40 years old woman is thinking about having a sex affair with a young boy even though she has a husband, and so on. So back to our Dorian Gray topic, I think it's a very important book because it tells you something that if people would not have this consequence of bad look, and remember, it's a metaphor. It's not just about like a tax on your body, like a tribute. That you, for example, you are doing something bad and you having consequences on it through the wrinkles, through the bad teeth, bald hair, and so on. No, it can be a metaphor that, well, people have bad tendencies and instincts like killing, raping, cheating, lying, and so on. But they do not do it in order not to be criticized, And sometimes the superego is taken away from you. I often remember about a different book created by Joseph Conrad, Heart of the Darkness. So it's a situation when a main hero goes to a General Kurtz, and this General Kurtz is like on a lone island surrounded by people, indigenous people, like people from the island and so on. And he has no culture there. No one is there to criticize him. So like General Kurtz goes for the primal instincts of manipulation, lying, having multiple women, because nobody criticizes him. So he's a little bit like a Dorian Gray. There are no consequences to his bad actions. Dorian Gray smokes cigarettes, cheats, goes to prostitutes, kills people. He's very brutal, and there are no consequences. People always see him as forever young, gentle, soft, good-looking, well-cultivated, educated, and so on. And, we can end the topic, or maybe end the chapter of this video, because I'll slide and slice the video in few chapters. So the first chapter is the broader analysis of what it means to be good looking, and also the implications of human nature that it has. That, just think about this, if people would be able to go freely without consequences for their bad actions, they would go for it, and you can say, well then it's good. We have police, we have judiciary system, we have judges, we have priests, so people that will judge you and so on. So it's good, right? But for me, it's not good, because it implies it's another proof of the misconception that human being has, that all the culture is just being good and it looks solid only because we have strong gauntlet, violence. If you attack somebody, if you steal something, police will catch you. If you're cheating on your wife will leave you, will do the divorce, and you'll have no friends. Brutal consequence. If you're lying and you go to the priest, you get some kind of a punishment for your crime, So it all implies you are always treated as a child. You do not do something bad because there are consequences. And for me, it's a tragical story, isn't it? So it implies that if you start, if you just, rest, just for me, it would be logical that if you are good human being, you can strip yourself away from the fate and phantom of consequence, that you're just thinking, well, okay, there are no consequences, yet I will not do evil things because I'm good from my nature. Yet people are different. They're like children. You need to constantly watch over them. If you forget about if you strip away the consequences, if suddenly the police stops working, Christian church stops working, superego stops working, and all those elements stops working, well, then people go on with the primal instinct. And suddenly enough, this primal instinct is twisted. You know, it's not like the primal instinct of animals. Animals are clear, simple. Animal kingdom is just a part of the nature. And you have a human, and I repeat, a misconception. There's nothing amazing about human. Well, no wonder that Christianity says that we have like this first sin, primal sin, you know. Of course, it is like taken to the extent about sexuality, that whoa, but I think it implies something like the primal sin that you are born as a problem when you are human. I don't know why people think it's a great luck to be a human. It's not. I truly believe that we are part of evolution that took an accident, you know, and we created awareness. And right now we have this baggage, this trash with us, and we do what we can, but it's not a gift per se, it's a problem. And some people like me, like ancient philosophers, like some medieval knights, like some sport people from today, like some scientists, overall people that think deliberately about human nature, about the problem that it presents, and try to solve it. And it's not solved through going to the primal instinct, because already primal instinct is dangerous with the animals, but I repeat, animals, at least they are clear and simple, so they can go with primal instinct. But when a human goes with primal instinct, it is like if you would play a game, computer game, that is bugged, and you just accept, I'll just play it. I know it's problematic, I know it's broken, I know it's bugged, I won't install any patches, I'll just play it. And it's a broken game, you're playing broken game, it'll make problems, maybe it will destroy your computer. So that's the human nature if you go with primal instinct. Where will you go with primal instinct? For hormones? For happiness? Okay, take cocaine, devastate your life as a junkie. What else? Sexual hedonism? You have a girlfriend, so you'll find 5 other girlfriends through one night stand and friend with benefits on Tinder? Great, you will devastate your psyche. What else? Maybe you can multiply examples. When you go with primal instincts of your hormones, of your happiness, people say, I want to feel happy. What does it even mean? It's not a goal. If you go for happiness, believe me, you will devastate yourself. What is happiness? Okay, forget about all the romanticism and happiness is no. Let's just stick with science, right? Happiness is like a load of hormones. You feel happy when you have high testosterone, high serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and so on. Well, great. If it's only about hormones, then take drugs, and you'll devastate yourself as a junkie. Works, right? Well, that's it. Well, that's the logic. That's the sad, tragical logic of human being. Its main goal is happiness, and happiness is hormones. So if you want just the hormones and just the happiness, take drugs and you'll devastate yourself. Happens with many cases. And some people are saying, but I'm not taking drugs. But I'm doing the same thing with other things, with TikTok, with YouTube shorts, with over excessive training in the gym, with sexual relationships that are casual and not mean anything. With anything, you can destroy your hormonal balance like a junkie without being a junkie. You get this? Why it happens? Well, because people go full on with the human nature and think, well, if I'm born a human, it must be a gift. Well, just think about this. Maybe actually you are born as an accident with primal sin, as Christianity explains it. So actually you are a problem. You cannot just go full on with yourself. You need to be cautious all the time, because if you go full on, well, then you are a problem. That's how it works. So yeah, to summarize, I truly believe that Dorian Gray presents a good, interesting story, and it's important to think about the implication about human nature, that most of the people are not evil because they're scared of consequences. And it tells you something about them because it means they're like children, they're afraid of punishment. But guess what? If there is no punishment, drugs, cheating, alcohol, partying, let's go. Alright? Well, look at psychological data and statistics. They're plain and clear. So, is it tragical? Yes. In like ancient etymology, tragical means life. It's not sad nor happy. It just is what it is. What can you do about it? You can read philosophers, good philosophers. You can think about your life cautiously and deliberately. You can train in the gym. You can work on your body. You can meditate. You can listen to good music, like the soundtrack from Oblivion. I truly recommend it because it calms your nerves. You can travel to good places. You can make friends. Many options. The thing is, you need to constantly think about what you're doing. You can never just go on with the instinct, because guess what? Instincts will lead you to an obstacle, to a dead end. Okay? So think about my words, put them into practice, and have a really nice day.